Alright, tragic heroes. Who doesn't love them? Pretty much everyone wants to see some buffed up dude struggle, suffer, and inevitably fail against impossible odds, doing what he can to show to the cruel universe that they mean business. The sufferer the suffering, and the impossibler the odds, they better. Many APs, or characters, or heroes, or stories, or whatever, do it well. But our beloved British hellhole of a universe does it, in my opinion, flawlessly. But do you know what certainly is not flawless? No, I'm not talking about you, sweet prince. You're doing just fine. I'm talking Blood Angels. Well, today let's talk about some buffed tragic dudes with staggeringly great hair routine and fangs the size of your average European PP. Let's dive right in. Let's engulf ourselves in the red waterfall. Let's scream into the dead void the name of the arch-traitor, who's standing right there, don't you fucking see him? And let's understand what makes them so unique in a universe that is a copyright lawyer's nightmare. So for the starts, what makes our bloody boys and their successors so special and so tragic at the same time? Aren't they just red ultramarines? Well, if you are not flesh-tearing daddy, I'll allow you to pose this question. If you are, go touch grass immediately and stop being such an unapologetic edgelord. Blood Angels, apart from being genetically modified space child soldiers with few additional, and believe me, essential organs, who are serving galaxy's worst megalomaniac with worst gold obsession, have some interesting twists to the Space Marine formula. Well, Great Angel's sons are what I can only describe as a bastard child of that Romanian noble who really liked pointy sticks, and Michelangelo if he chose ultra-violence instead of being gay. Saying they are space vampires simplifies a lot of things, but it's a good place to start. What makes them tragic and riveting at the same time is their relationship with their drinking preference, called in universe the Red Thirst. Majority of Blood Angels are doing what they can to keep their red Kool-Aid urge, try to say it rapidly 3 times in a row, red Kool-Aid urge. Alright, majority of Blood Angels are doing what they can to keep their red Kool-Aid urge at bay, which places them closer to homoerotic era troubled vampire rather than Gigachat Nosferatu. I've said majority, but there are some 30 Days of Night level sickos in this lineage. We'll talk about them in some other video. Right now, the thing we need to understand is that your average Blood Angel will do anything to stay away from sucking on red. Some meditate and pray, gay. Some pick up arts, gayer. Some keep their cool through pure fucking will, but sooner or later they'll all snap. And when they do, it really doesn't matter if the ichor flows from guardsman, tyrannid warrior, orc boy, or some random orphan. All they care about is stopping the thirst. They quite literally see red, which makes them closer analogy to your dad after one too many shots of Smirnoff than we all care to admit. What separates them from your father is the fact that usually after they inevitably sober up, they have some moral hangover. Either from the fact that the previously mentioned orphan after the deed looks more like gochujang paste rather than human being, or simply from disgust that they had gorged on some thick, juicy life fluid sucked directly from Tyrannidusi. I hate myself for saying that. Please send help. Life cycle of a Blood Angel is a sinusoid. At the top of their mental stability diagram, they are the Emperor's best. Caring, intelligent, tactically sound soldiers, talented artists, honorable warriors. In other words, proud sons of, objectively, the best Primarch. At their worst, they are deranged rabid animals who care not from where the blood flows. Butchers clad in armor stained in gore and filth. In other words, proud sons of, objectively, the best Primarch. Right now would be a good time to explore a bit the wacky goofy biography of their father, Sanguinius. I'll leave the detailed look at his fortunate and remarkably lucky existence for some other time. What interests us the most now is the fact that he did not suffer, for the most of the time, from this teeny tiny cute little flaw. As far as Imani creations go, he was perfect. His aura inspired others to do deeds no one could ever imagine. His fighting prowess coexisted perfectly with his magnificent wings. He was humble, he was understanding, he could control himself. Am I biased? No. Why you're asking? What went wrong with his sons then? Well, no one really knows. Your guess is as good as current GW writers is. Maybe it was some warp fuckery. Maybe Imani designed the genes in that way. Maybe simply stuffing some unholy meatball full of genetic memory directly into teenagers' pharynx was not such a good idea after all. Also, gross biggie. Either way, that was perfect, and his sons are not. Even before Luperca's lunacy or something, I don't know, I don't read books, the Red First existed. Fabulous Hawkboy did his best in damage control department, trying to hide his son's drink of choice. The unfortunate episodes weren't as widespread as in modern 40k era, but it did happen, and that wasn't exactly pleased about it. Isolated incidents turned into regular occurrence just after Sangi's tragic demise, when this bold son of a fuck buffed into oblivion with warp juice, stopped playing with his foot, and mopped the floor with great angels' not so pure white feathers. Blood angels lost their only chance for salvation. Sangi's guidance was gone, and in its place, second of the twin curses appeared. But wait, I hear you ask, what do you mean twin? Well, Hawkboy's cheeks got clapped so hard that the psychic backlash caused generational level trauma. Development of bad drinking habits wasn't the only change in Blood Angel's modus operandi. The other one was the Black Rage. While Red First can be simply described as desire to drink blood while being kinda sad, Black Rage is the desire to fuck shit up while tripping balls. One moment, our generic Blood Angel is fighting tyrannies on some backwater shithole of the planet, reciting litanies of hate while descending on roaring fireball, and in a blink of an eye, the same generic Blood Angel imagines himself on the Arch-Traitor's flagship, butchering through Sons of Horus legionaries at the climax of the heresy's final battle. He can see the traitors clear as a day, even though 1 second ago they were collecting biomass for the hive mind. It really doesn't matter. Horus is right there. Let's fuck him up. What's so cool about Black Rage is lack of regularity in the hallucinations domain. Some think they are 30k legionary, as described before, fighting for their lives at the Siege of Terra, boiling with disgust for the Oathbreakers, while others can even gaslight themselves into believing that they are Sanguinius himself, soloing one Horus after another. Let's ignore the fact that the Horus in question is once again some poor fucking orphan. This little bastard shouldn't have betrayed our glorious empire. The common point is the bending of perception to the point of insanity. They don't fight cohesively, they don't use tactics or any critical thinking whatsoever. They take the rage part very seriously. World Eaters had to wedge some metal dreadlocks soaked in fentanyl directly into their craniums just to be partially as pissed off as Blood Angel experiencing the Black Rage. The other aspect that differs Black Rage from Red First is the irreversibility of it. While the moral hangover usually keeps the alcoholic father behavior at bay, if the Black Rage happens, it's done. There are only 2 mad lads who had suffered from it and kinda snapped out. One of them died and then became an overpowered force of nature, and the other is clinically insane. For our generic Blood Angel, there's only one career path, and that's Death Company. Personally, I think it's the coolest aspect of Blood Angel's army. Just imagine whole units of batshit crazy lunatics charging headfirst into enemy lines while experiencing every single bad trip imaginable. Even their design goes super fucking hard. Just look at these scrolls. There's not a square centimeter of armor left. The mental image of Chaplin slapping purity seals left and right while these rabid animals and the Primarch cosplayers froth from their mouths won't stop amusing me anytime soon. Yes, I'm aware there's some litany of doom lullaby that makes them approachable, to be rearmed and redecorated, but please, don't stomp on my fantasy. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm going to pretend that their brand new refresh doesn't exist, and I suggest the same for you. It's completely stripped from their original glory, and if you're willing to pay full price for glorified and frankly underdeveloped upgrade sprue, then good for you. Just don't talk to me or Malimartis ever again. You're probably wondering, how do you even command this merry bunch? After all, charging headfirst into enemy lines demands someone to point out said enemy lines. Well, enter the world of Death Company chaplains. They are the missing link between military structured cohesive unit and angry mob with pitchforks clad in all black. Call me a fanboy, but once again, the cool factor is through the fucking roof. The dedicated model for Jump Pack Death Company chaplain, that's a mouthful, sorry for that, goes super fucking hard. It's easily identifiable, and the split armor design has meaning, is unique, and is not that hard to paint. Don't worry about it. Now let's take a look at the Unimartis, and oh dear lord, what is that? Bro, why are you freaky? To be completely honest, it's the paint job and the lighting and all of that makes the Rebreather look like the freakiest gag ball in the Milky Way. But sorry, I'm salty that such a cool unit and a character lore-wise gets diminished to the level of meme material. That's Kalgar's and his throne role, or Katachan's, or anything else. Leave my lunatic alone. Getting back to the chaplains, they're the only human and non-human beings that are capable to communicate with Death Company. And how could they possibly do it? Through the magnificent power of gaslighting, of course. They lean into the heresy, siege, sanguineous roleplay fantasy and directly command the Death Company according to their hallucination of choice. They yell about traitors. They gently persuade all of the sanguineuses to go right there and fuck this shit up specifically. And so the black tide marches on to the cacophony of curses and screams and me busting a nut. I need to stop right now. Sorry for that. To understand the Blood Angels flavor even better, this would be a perfect time to look at their typical equipment that defines their personal art of war. I guess it should not be surprising to y'all that long-range sniping or espionage are not their piece of cake. Biting someone's neck is hard while shooting bolt sniper rifle. It's not that Blood Angels are allergic to ranged combat. After all, they are the Emperor's finest, and some shooty action is pretty much always the part of the experience. It's simply not their preferred way of solving problems. As every respectable Space Marine chapter / Legion, they gotta have their gimmick. White Scars have their Kawasaki Ninjas and Honda Civics. Ultramarines have calculators and Excel spreadsheets. Raven Guard have Rusty Razors and Linkin Park albums, and Blood Angels have their jump packs and blonde wigs. It's crucial that we all understand it. Blood Angels strap jump packs on pretty much anything. Jump Pack Firstborn, Jump Pack Intercessors, Jump Pack Death Company with their Jump Pack Babysitter, Chapter Master and his whole crew of expendable meat shields clad in gachi-muchi golden armor all have jump packs. 30k Blood Angels have fucking jump pack dreadnoughts. It's jump or get jumped, and oh boy, we are bowling. It's only natural that jump pack goes with some melee weapons as well as Jägerbomb goes with heart attack. So usually we'll see our jump pack boys rocking chainswords, power fists, or, if you're following outdated meta, thunderhammers. This way they can ensure that every spray of blood lands directly on their faces, and the opponents can have a really good look at the pointy tips of their fangs. So, we've got the line troops covered. What about HQs? The more important the Blood Angel, the fancier his gear. The rule applies to all Warhammer, but it's evident in Red Boy's domain. Captains can be seen wielding exquisite power swords, resembling Dad's finest weaponry, and being clad in fancier armor than usual, but don't get fooled, they are as animalistic and brutal as any Blood Angel gets. As Weebles like to say, engravings give them no tactical advantage whatsoever, but we all know it's drip or drown and these fuckers are floating. Ranged weaponry also has some good amount of variety in terms of being unique. Bolt or plasma pistols are plentiful in other chapters. I don't know pretty much any that doesn't use them, but what I adore the most in Blood Angel's weaponry are Inferno pistols. You probably know them from Space Marine 2, and if that's so, your impressions probably aren't really that positive, but I assure you, in lore, they fucking slap. I have no idea what chemical agent was snorted by Magus who invented it, or more likely by some bored intern who created STC for it. Comprehension of the idea of one-hand melta revolver with range shorter than harsh language audibility is way beyond my intelligence level, but I'm all for it either way. Sticking a barrel of a massive gun directly into intergalactic horror's mouth is just too cool to be bound by mere logic or tactics or some other lame excuse. So we've talked about guns and blades and fangs, but before this video ends, I feel obliged to recommend you all some Blood Angel books that are fun and have some interesting lore ideas presented in a way better form than some YouTube monkey essayist ramblings. First of all, stay away from James Swallow series or Blood Angel Omnibus or Deus, whatever. It sucks astronomical amount of balls. It's boring bolter porn without any understanding of what's so fun in Blood Angels. To be completely honest, I don't know if it's still even canon. It probably is, if you want it to be, but the insurrection events are not mentioned anywhere, as far as I know, and they probably should have been mentioned somewhere. You know, secession of one of the first founding legions provoked by chaos infiltration is kind of a big deal. Also, if you're not a masochistic freak, skip Fear to Tread. It's the only solo Blood Angels oriented book in Horus Heresy series, and it's a slog. The concept of Khorne rivalry is cool, but I'm really not a fan of Swallow's writing. For 30k, go with Unremembered Empire. If you want some more sanguineous talking and being sad than sword action, it's not essential, but I'm biased. And definitely, and I mean definitely, don't skip Siege of Terra books. You'll have some Hogboy moments, one of the best depictions of Black Rage and Red First, a lot of amazing characters that are crucial to the whole lore. You'll also have to crawl through some of the wackiest storylines ever put to paper, but you'll obtain bragging rights that you did, in fact, know what John Grammaticus is all about. For some sweet modern 40k era, I highly recommend Dante and Devastation of Baal. Hype moments, aura farming, acceptable writing, and being up to date with our beloved chapter master shenanigans is worth it. And for the cherry on top, Lemarty's short story by David Annandale, and whatever. It explores Black Rage in a way no other book ever did, and switching from barely lucid point of view to full-on schizo ramblings is intensely entertaining. And finally, don't treat any of my videos as reliable lore knowledge source or whatever. I'm making it all for shits and giggles. Go read a book. Touch grass. Be better. Thank you for sticking to the end, and see you around.